Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know podcast network presents Balls and Brew.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. I'm Jimmy. We have Rod and Chris here, but also we have Corey Nance coming in to help us out a little bit. I have to jump out of the room and go take care of some things. But Chris, I know one of the big things about Victor Wembanyama, number one overall pick for the San Antonio Spurs, is the fact that, well, he's a big guy. He's 7'5", 7'7", and we just really don't know where he's going to go. I know you have some concerns. Talk to me a little bit about Victor Wembanyama.
So what I really think is going to happen is you're going to see a kid that is going to get a little bit nervous and scared to go hard down in the paint when it comes to playing in the league with a bunch of big guys. I don't think it's going to take long for somebody to really try to put him in his place, and he's going to realize he's not quite got the frame or the strength yet to battle down low. Because I know you go up against Rudy Gobert, he's not going to take it easy on Victor with the first night he sees him. So you're going to see a guy that isn't going to go low, isn't going to post up that much. He'll still be on the wings. He'll still be shooting. He will probably drive some, but I think you'll see some apprehension. I do think you'll probably still see a Rookie of the Year type campaign as long as he stays healthy. Because I get nervous with these big guys. They are notoriously known to have foot issues throughout their career, and you see it in almost every guy that's over 7 foot anymore. Shaquille's like the rare exception to this feat.
And even he started breaking down a little bit near the end of his career. So, Corey, I know you're not an expert basketball scout, nor have you ever been in an NBA draft room, but you know the history Chris is speaking of these big guys that kind of seemed like they'd be a great thing, and then it just didn't really pan out. What do you think is coming with Victor?
I think he has a chance to be really good. Where he fits in at it will be interesting to see if he does transition to being more of a big man than a wingman, because I think that's where a lot of people are seeing him at right as of right now. He's tall, so even when he goes low, like short guys are still lower, like they're going just as low. So that's what worries me. There's going to be a lot of contact in his legs and stuff, so you got to start worrying about his hips and leg injuries and stuff like that. So. But if he can stay healthy, I think he's a game changer. It's a definite number one lottery pick, like real deal. Hopefully, it'd be fun to watch.
I'm looking forward to
is.
it, right? A reason to watch San Antonio Spurs basketball is going to be awfully, awfully cool. I heard a little nugget from Brian Windhorst that I thought was pretty excellent, right? Two of the coolest basketball videos that exist out there in the world, right, are the old Pistol Pete Maravich basketball skills tape and any and one mixtape that you could get your hands on in the early days. And apparently one of Victor's earliest coaches that he had when he was 12 years old taught him how to dribble and handle using both of those things. And I say, well, all right, if you got Pistol Pete in you and you got the professor in you, you absolutely can't lose. Right, Chris?
You definitely can't lose, especially if you're taking cues from the professor. That dude still is schooling people on the court.
That's right. Hot sauce, right? There's all the different guys that were out there with where the DJ, right, would be, and then got to get it dunked on. Oh, the crowd would go crazy. Oh,
those early mixtapes were so hot. Like you were literally scouring the streets for them early on.
Yeah, I mean when you were up there in Portland, when you were doing that dock work up there in Portland, man, those were hot commodities back in those days.
Oh, listen, there were a lot of Chinese knockoffs that tried to come through that port, let me tell you.
Speaking of Portland, you see what I did there, Chris? It was another pretty darn big moment in the draft. What was going to happen with Portland? What was Charlotte ultimately going to do it to? Charlotte did it to what basically had been reported for a while. We heard a lot of deeks to try to throw us off the scent, but ultimately Charlotte drafted Brandon Miller at 2. So that left Portland with the decision. Do we draft Scoot Henderson, who many will tell you would have been a consensus number 1 pick in any draft that did not include Victor Wembanyama, or do we trade that number 3 pick and try to get somebody who can help our guy, Dame Lillard, the captain, the Blazer lifer, right now? And Portland took Scoot Henderson. And so I say to you, Corey Nance, my NBA conspiracy theorist, does that mean Damian Lillard's days in Portland are numbered because Scoot was drafted at 3?
I mean, I'm rooting for it. Like, I want Dame to go somewhere and have a chance at something. Like, he could stay there and still not have a chance. That's the thing about it, is Scoot's not going to make that big of a difference for him, and he's going to have to be sharing time with Scoot. So hopefully, Dame gets shipped somewhere where he can play for a contender. It would be awesome.
I
if he
agree with
does.
you, right? Scoot might be a generational talent, but he's not going to do anything for Damian Lillard right now. So I think Dame being traded would be wonderful for the NBA, but Chris, I still just worry about it, right? It just seems clear to me that Damian doesn't want to be the bad guy here, and it seems like it's going to take him asking out before Portland just ships him out of town, because then they become the bad guy, right? And they can't do that. This guy sold tickets for them for a decade.
Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned this, that he may be loyal to a fault here. And listen, I respect it. I love guys who play their entire career at one team. My favorite player ever, Reggie Miller, entire career, one team.
No rings.
No rings. Kobe Bryant, a guy I wasn't a big fan of, but respected the game, played his entire career with one team. Technically, he was drafted by another team, but he didn't necessarily play for them. I saw that, Corey. So I like that he's been with Portland for this long, and I wish Portland would have done more the previous 2 seasons to try to build something around him, because I think they squandered that chance. I think they had to take Scoot if they couldn't get a deal done, and I think they're going to have to try to get him out. I like to see him go someplace like, if he wants a ring, he should try to go to Milwaukee. Yes. Milwaukee, Middleton is opting out. They need another scorer. They need a guy that can initiate the offense more so than what they need Giannis to do it. I think Lillard would fit in great at Milwaukee.
Giannis needs the ball in his hands. You can't have Lillard dominating the ball in Milwaukee. No, Giannis is still just entering his prime. He's only going to actually get better on offense. The Giannis slander that is going on out in the NBA universe might be something that we tackle on an off-season podcast here. Let's not forget about who Giannis is. 50 points in a game 7. All right. This man is a dominant basketball player, but we're not going to talk about him now. We're here to talk about the draft. I think Portland is going to do Portland things here, right? Any history of them making absolutely smart moves? None whatsoever. I think they're going to attempt to split the baby here. They're not going to trade Dame. They're going to bring Scoot on, and they're going to give the same line of BS that the Golden State Warriors just failed at. We have a 2-track plan here, and a 2-track plan does not work. Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe, who frankly they already have on the roster, and I think shows a little bit of NBA type skill as well. Neither one of these guys are ready to contribute to playoff winning basketball anytime in the next 2 years, and that, quite frankly, are the last 2 prime Damian Lillard years. So Portland is probably not going to do anything. That's my thought there. Chris, let's move on. What else should we talk about? The Thompson twins going back to back at 4 and 5. Did that impress you?
That's a great story. What surprised me more than anything in this draft, and we used to see this a little bit more often before the one and done rule became a thing in the NBA and college, but we saw only 2 college players from American college universities get drafted in the top 7. Everybody else was either foreign, 2 guys from France. You had G League and a couple AAU guys. That's a lot of non-college athletics that weren't getting drafted.
Listen, I hope we don't have any folks at Overtime Elite who listen to this podcast who are just associated with the AAU level by Chris King there. But there is a little bit of truth to that, right? I think that was some of the question about the Thompson boys coming in. What do we think about the level of competition they were playing? Corey, do we wonder to ourselves, were the Thompson boys in Overtime Elite just playing kind of good players at the Y, right? Like, is that who they were taking on in this league for 2 years? But they certainly seem like freak athletes. Do you think you could spot right now which one of them would be a better player just by looks? Corey, do you think you'd be good enough to do that?
No, I wouldn't. And I probably
I wouldn't ask you to pick between them because I couldn't do it either, right? But do you think you'd be able to pick out which one's a better basketball player just by looking them up and down?
Nah, I don't think so. They're pretty close, right? Like, I feel like coming from that, there's going to be a real transition period for them coming from that level
Yeah,
of
you hear they
basketball
can't
to
shoot
the
at all,
NBA.
which is certainly not going to help them any moving on there. So, yeah, the Thompson twins go. You had the Pacers get involved in a couple of dealings, picking up some second-round picks, moving back in the draft, but ultimately getting Jerice Walker, the guy that they wanted anyway. You had the Mavericks unloading the Davis Bertans lead brick of a contract to the Oklahoma City Thunder and moving back a little bit and getting a big man. They got the lively kid from Duke, right, Chris? He's like 7'1", rangy defender.
Yeah, no, he went to Dallas. A lot of potential with him. He didn't get a lot of offensive looks really at Duke. I think he averaged 5 points a game.
Guess what? He ain't getting many offensive looks in Dallas next year either if Kyrie comes back with Luke already on that team.
But that's fine. That dude will work for boards and blocks and do what you need to do. He doesn't need to score to have an impact anyway.
And in this move, the Mavericks opened up cap space and a trade exception. So again, Chris, at the beginning of this podcast, I mentioned to you, keep your eye on something funny happening with Draymond Green. Dallas, we've heard, is in the running there. Corey, were you surprised to see Dallas just take a guy, or did you think that they were going to try to move their pick out and bring somebody onto that team that can help Luka and Kyrie right now?
They're in a tough spot because Luke is so good that you can kind of afford to take some younger guys with him, you know. He makes everybody better. So there's that. And then bringing in draft pick or free agents like Draymond or whoever else it is. So you're kind of stuck where you want to be. And then is Kyrie's a free agent right now or
they got to
after
sign him this
What
year,
is
right?
it?
And that's the thing that I like. I wonder this. I literally just said his name a second ago, and I saw Chris kind of chuckle at it because usually I don't even say his name, and it just kind of slipped out when I asked that question there. But here's what I would wonder. Everybody says that Kyrie is not getting the market out there that he wanted because the only teams that can pay him the full boat are teams that he doesn't want to go to. I wonder what are the chances he still just doesn't start the year because he literally tells Dallas max or nothing and literally just doesn't start the year. Even if nobody else will give him a max contract, he still tells Dallas, I'm not playing for anything less than that. Chris, what do you think the chances are of that actually happening?
I mean, way too high than what they should be. I mean, I'm almost willing to say 50-50. I mean, yeah. I think that's a real toss-up. I could really see him doing that.
Yeah, he's like, I know what I'm worth. I know what NBA players should be getting paid. He'll go on some whole huge trying to make himself a martyr like he does with every other thing that ever gets turned against him. I love that how on a draft podcast, Corey Nance, I still figure out a way to take shots at Kyrie Irving. I'm nothing if not predictable, right?
You're definitely going to get him in when you get a chance.
Anytime I can make fun of Kyrie
sure.
Irving, I will absolutely do that. Chris, let's go ahead and talk about one more pick here before we close up shop because I see the background that you have right now and the background that you have every time that we record this podcast. You had a secret hope for your Hoosier, your guy, Jordan Hood Scafino, and talk to us about your journey and when you finally saw him get drafted by the Lakers.
Yeah, I really, really was happy. You even heard me in our little pre-pod hangout where I was literally saying, please draft him, please draft him. We're like, who? I want the Lakers to get Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think he'd fit in perfect there. They don't necessarily need a guy to start coming in from this draft, but they do need a guy that can play with the second unit, can run the offense, come in and handle the ball without turning it over. And Jalen Hood-Schifino is a perfect type of guard to take that role. He can drive, he can penetrate, he knows how to run the pick and roll. He is deadly from that 15 to 18 foot range all over the court, and he can get to those spots essentially whenever he wants. He is a perfect fit for LA. I was real happy about it.
I would give him one piece of advice, and that is stay out of the way of Austin Reeves and let that man cook, all right? Things will be fine, Mr. Hood Scafino, if he just lets Austin Reeves do his thing on the basketball court. We will react to any late-breaking trades or any late-round, second-round draft picks that seem to matter, right? Like I kind of like the guy from UCLA, the 4-year starter who's 22 years old, looks a little bit like a villain. Jaime Jaquez, I believe his name is. I really believe that guy is an absolute player, and whoever gets him might find themselves a little bit of a steal. So it'll be interesting to see who drafts him in the later rounds of this draft. But now I need to give a big thank you to our pinch hitter, our old friend, Corey Nance. Thank you, my friend, for stepping up last minute and talking a little NBA with us on the night of the draft. I appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, bud. I hope you guys are doing well.
Absolutely.
And thanks for
We will
letting me
get
come on.
you back on here right there. We hope that big things might happen in the NBA. We might have to have some big, huge roundtable discussion about some earth-shattering seismic move that happens in the NBA because free agency is just around the corner. Chris, any closing words as we wrap up a different version of the fast break here on Balls and Brew without our guy James Jim Riska? Shout out to Jimmy.
Go Kings. Right? Stay on brand. Go Kings.
See, Jimmy would appreciate that as well. Jimmy always on brand talking wrestling. Chris always on brand talking about Sacramento. And me always on brand talking about myself, I guess, would probably be how you would describe all three of our brands.
Jaime Jaquez to the Heat.
Of course. See, of course, Heat culture. Of course, the team that just ran to the NBA Finals as an 8 seed with guys nobody's heard of before take Jaime Jaquez. Listen, I just speak things into existence on this podcast, all right? I got Anthony Richardson to the Colts. I got Gardner Minshew to the Colts. All right, Chris, I mean, how many more things do you want me just to make happen for you?
Listen, I'm still pretty upset about you getting Gardner Minshew to the Colts.
No, I'm definitely not unhappy about it. And I still believe we're going to see Gardner start a few games for this Colts team. I think this is nonsense that Anthony Richardson's going to be at QB. But we'll get to that in the weeks to come as well when Mr. Williams makes his triumphant return back to the podcast. With all of that said, make sure you are checking out this feed for our wrestling podcast. And make sure you are going to be with us in July. I got 2 podcasts planned for you right around the middle of July. Pop culture stuff. Me and the Mrs. Morgan, it'll be fun. Keep your eyes on this feed. We appreciate you listening. Until next time, Chris has the final word.
Goodbye, Internet.